In a previous video, I talked about the 3 things you have to prove in your VA disability claim. The third of those 3 things is you have to prove there's a connection between your current disability and your service, usually through an injury or an illness or some other event. And the VA calls this service connection. You may also hear some people call it a nexus or a medical nexus. Now, it's important to remember that you have the obligation to prove this as the veteran making the claim. And it's also important to realize that the lack of service connection is one of the main reasons that the VA denies claims for disability benefits. So it's important to get this right. Now, I'm going to be talking about service connection as it relates to direct service connection and aggravation and secondary conditions. There are other issues that I won't get into today with this video. But to get right to the point, I'll say that 9 times out of 10, if not more often than that, in order to prove a service connection, you are going to need a doctor to write an opinion letter that says it is at least as likely as not that your service caused your disability. Now that phrase, at least as likely as not, is critical. It is the minimum level of certainty that your doctor needs to have in order for the VA to grant you service connection. It doesn't have to be more than that. It'd be great if it is, if your doctor's willing to say it is likely, is very likely. I don't see those often, but those are nice. But at a minimum, your doctor needs to say it's at least as likely as not that your service caused the disability. Now that likely language is very important. The VA often denies claims when the medical opinion says it's possible that the service caused a disability or the service may have caused the disability. The officer deciding the claim will often say that's too speculative as far as opinions go. So the likeliness language is important. And keep that in mind when you talk to your doctor about the opinion that you need. But let me step back a little bit. So why is a medical opinion important in the first place? And that revolves around the complicated nature of medical causation. What specifically causes a medical condition? Even doctors are hesitant to say with certainty that this thing or this event caused this medical condition or disability. Because doctors are so uncertain, the VA is just frankly not going to take your word for it. It doesn't matter the medical history that you have or how obvious it is. Take an example like migraines, for instance. So if you suffer from migraines, and you can link it to some very specific things that happened in your service, the VA is still not just going to take your word for it. They're going to need a doctor to say that, those events in your service are the reason you have migraines today, or rather, at least as likely as not, those are the reasons you still have migraines today. Similar for, say, joint issues. You can probably point to a long list of injuries you suffered in service. You're running every day, jumping, all sorts of things. The military is hard on the body, and everybody knows that. But you walking into the VA and showing, the long list of times that you went to sick call, it's not good enough. You need a doctor to say, yep, it's at least as likely as not that all of these, injuries cause his current joint issues today. So just keep that in mind. There are other issues with service connection. Like I said, I'm not going to get into those today, but those are things like presumptive conditions around exposure to Agent Orange or service connection for chronic medical conditions. I'm not going to get into those. And obviously you can go into a longer video about aggravation and secondary service connection, but I'll save those for other videos later. The main thing right now, and it's the most important thing for the vast majority of VA disability claims, is that you have to get your doctor to say that it is at least as likely as not that your service caused your disability. That's the main point. And as always, If you're struggling with the VA and you'd like some help, send me an email, a text, give me a call. I'm happy to see if maybe I can help you out. Links to contact me are in the description below.